Hi. This time I'm not coming out the closet. I'm coming out the barrel. Ooh. Y'all, I don't know what I was thinking when I did that. I was gonna get inside, but listen, all I gotta say is I ended up mopping all the water I spilled because of it. So that didn't work out. Today we're doing something new. Of course we are. Today I got commissioned to paint a Michael Kors bag. This bag was delivered to me, and they requested that I put their 3 daughters on the picture. They requested I put their 3 daughters from 3 different pictures into one combination. Now, I've already started sketching, and I already started layering the first few layers of white, just because I do tend to think that sketching does take a while for me, just because I like to be precise. So I did that outside the video. You know, I also got commissioned to do a wallet, so I'll be doing a miniature. I don't know if I'm gonna do the same image. I think I'm gonna switch it up just because let's do something different. So this will be a separate video probably. I might not even do a video for it. We'll see how much time I actually put into it, because this does take a while. Those 10-minute videos y'all be watching, or some of y'all be watching, they don't take 10 minutes. They don't at all. Anyways, that's what we're gonna be doing today. Now, ooh, I look sweaty. I would say that it was my routine where I like exfoliate and all that, but it wasn't. It took me a while to get under that. It's kind of heavy and really big. And for some reason I got stuck at one point, so that's just that. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Enjoy.
So before really going into what this project is about, it's simple to understand, but I wanted to bring up this idea of creating shapes. This is something new I'm trying, and it's supposed to differentiate shapes and tones. So as you can see, I'm starting to bring in the darkest shade and then going into light. So I'm using these boxes, these shapes I'm creating around the face to like really help me understand where these things go. It made it easier. I think I finished each of these faces at a much faster pace than I usually do. Something I started to do was just simply start layering color on top of color, almost like if it was oil paint, which is not. It's a paint that dries faster. So it was interesting to think that creating these shapes really made it so that I could like layer these colors without having to think so much. This is something I will be using as often as I can. I think it's a productive way for artists to think, and I think I would suggest a lot of people to start doing this. It's something you learn in art school if you do take it. I'm saying a lot, so I'm sorry about that. But it's something that made it a lot more, I don't want to say easier, because I think it's a concept that you have to comprehend over time. But I think it made it in a lot of ways, much fluid for my paint to like be layered on. So as you can see here, even like as I'm doing the shirts, they're just tones of color. They're not shaded correctly. I think, not to say that they're not shaded correctly, but to say that they're not like completely blended. They're just colors that lay on top of each other. And I think that this helps art in many ways, because when we look at art, we're not front and center. We're not close to it. We want to look at art far away. We want to distance ourselves so that we're like giving ourselves space to take in everything that's going on in the piece. So even like things right here where these pieces are just colors laid on top of wet. So this is a technique called wet on wet, where you lay paint wet on wet, and it'll make it so that not everything is blended correctly or solid, and it gives these different textures and different viewpoints. And as I moved into the hair, this was something that became even easier, because as you can see, I'm layering colors from dark to light. So I'm putting in my darkest tones first, and then as I go, I'm going back to like lay these little highlight sections that you might see. And it makes it so that as the paint dries, it starts to pop out more. Then I would go back in and add these gray tones, which aren't supposed to be gray hairs, but they are supposed to show as shine. And I think it's something that you can see later on. So I had to stir the bag there because I had to like use my sides, and it was kind of irritating to like draw from the front side. So that's something that happened. Something I liked about this piece is that although these characters don't, well, not characters, they're not characters, they're people. These children, although these children all have different textured hair, different textured clothing, I think I was able to like really reproduce what they inspired and what they almost the sensation that they had while using the same technique for all. I think even for this little girl in the this child in the middle, she had curly hair. So it was quite difficult because creating this sense of like having something drop down and creating different variations was something that wasn't supposed to be so easy. It is a small piece, so it's kind of hard to understand that, but as we go on, it makes a lot more sense. Now this flower, let me tell you, I had the only issue with this flower because at first, like any piece of art, it felt really weird. It didn't work out at all. I felt like it was all over the place, but you have to keep adding when you're working because that's the only way you see the final touch. Um, we'll go back to that piece later when I add the blacks. But I did have a lot of fun creating the little headpieces for each of these children. I think it tied everything together. It gave them a little sense of connection, even though they had different items on top. So the first child in the middle had this little ribbon. The one to the right had this little type of flower that you could see it come out. And then the other one had another flower. I was making them up as I go, to be honest. I did have issues with making the eyebrows and eyes and mouth, and I think that those are always the hardest parts just because when you're working at this scale, it's hard to like really get details in. I was working really small, so it was difficult for me to like really get into these crevices of what they inspired. So so if you look at it now, it looks really crazy. It's a but it's something that will always happen with creating faces in art. Your first image will always look very like weird and off, but as you keep going, you'll start seeing that everything you add makes it so that that face pops out. Something to think about is always this idea of how you create these eyes. Sometimes when you create these eyes, they give you a different sensation of what your first original image was, so you have to be careful with that. I tried to make sure that I didn't give them these like scary, almost haunting eyes to avoid that whole idea. And then when you do go back to like outlining everything at the final sense, it brings it back together. And I think I created a piece that my customer will love. So I'm very happy. Thank you.
Alright guys, and just like that, I am finished. So what I'm gonna end up doing is I'll wait a few days, I'll let it set. Technically before I even like finish, I need to make sure that I put a layer of coating so that it doesn't get scratched, damaged, or it's good against the water. I have a few items that I'm gonna put on later on. So I have like a little, I think I've definitely shown it in my previous videos. It's I have a varnish that I will lay it over with, and then I will spray it with Angelus. Can't remember what it's called specifically, but it's like this spray that will make it so that it repels water, dirt, or anything like that. So it'll make it so that it protects the protection. It'll make it so that the bag stays fresh and all that, you know. But this is the final look of it. I'm really excited, actually. I'm excited and happy about how this turned out. I think it's really pretty cute. It looks better in person, of course, but girl, she's gonna be so hyped. She's just gonna be like, ooh, y'all, look at my daughters. Look at my daughters. Oh, where am I going? Grocery shopping with my daughters. Going to work or staying at home because of COVID. With my daughters. And y'all mad. But I had a really fun time, and I'm surprised at how fast I finished this one. Usually it takes me a couple of hours, but I guess that's also because sometimes I do tend to like start watching shows while I'm working. I think it calms my body down. But this time I made sure not to like even turn on my Alexa, so I wasn't listening to music at all. I was just focusing on it. So I think it only took me about 4 hours before I would, at this point where I could say it's finished. For the next video, I will probably be showcasing how I do the wallet. I think the wallet will be a bit more difficult because I have less space to work with. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna be actually putting the girls on here, like I can maybe do something where it's like black and white and then just a simple like caricature moment. We'll see how that works out. I probably will reach out to the client to see what they think about that idea before I actually move on. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this moment. Ooh, before I forget, as you can see, I started putting off some pieces up here. They used to be on the other wall, but I think I want to start showcasing my work. This was gonna be like a celebrity wall, but I realized I don't like drawing celebrities, which is why I don't do it. I'm sure I could get a lot more followers if I did celebrity this, celebrity that, but that's not me. That's not me. So I'm gonna stay with my little bit of followers, and I'm gonna keep doing what I love to do. I'm gonna keep creating weird and kooky things, you know, with the exception of some things. I will be working on a few paintings. I am working on this cutie. It's covered right now because I haven't worked on it in a while, which means that dust tends to collect in rooms like this. So I want to make sure that I'm keeping as much dust away from it, because if it gets into the painting, it will get annoying, which is something I should have done a long time with a lot of these paintings, but it's too late. Also, this blue bin, for those of you wondering what it's going to be for, it's just where I'm going to store my paintings. I think I am taking up a lot of space in my closet and stuff because a lot of my paintings are still on the canvas. I was gonna throw them all out. I was gonna mess them up so that no one can claim them, but what I think I'm gonna end up doing is just rolling them up, storing them in that bin, and then once it's like decently filled, I don't know what's gonna happen after that. We'll see. I did want to sell a lot of these paintings that I still have, like Embrace, which is like a feminist piece I created. If you remember, it was the monochromatic pink, which just means a bunch of different types of pinks. It was over here to this side. It was like this statue of a female body with pineapple and a kettle. It was supposed to represent that idea of like how we perceive women and how women hold themselves up. I think pineapples are a strong fruit, which is something I like. You can play with it all you want, but they fight back. And I cut myself once trying to like cut open a pineapple just because the little things outside. Dumb pineapples be scary. Don't mess with them. But weird analogy, weird connection. But hope you guys enjoyed. Y'all, I just noticed I was supposed to be in class. I have 2 hours left of that class. So I'm gonna get to that before I get my ass kicked. Bye, y'all. Ooh, I didn't say that word. Monetize. Bye.